Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to a live episode of Strong Style. Are you hearing the audio? Or just me?
Yeah, I hear you just
All
fine.
right, there we go. It's tailing. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I unfortunately had my own audio up on the YouTube and the link up there. So just hello, happy Friday. Welcome everybody to a live episode of Strong Style. Let's try that again. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined by my man over there in Orlando, Aaron Turner. He's in a brightly lit room this time. I like it. I can see his whole face. This is great. What's going on?
Yeah, there's no curtains. There's no nothing in here. Having new windows installed at the casa.
Ooh,
so
nice.
yeah, there's no curtains, no blinds, no nothing. So it's just Florida sun in my face. That's what's going on right now.
Well, I mean, I'm excited today to talk about so many things. We had to move the time up a little bit because I've got something that needs my attention later on today, or else we would have gone at the 4 o'clock hour here in the Pacific Coast time. So thanks to Aaron for being able to adjust his schedule to do it a little bit earlier on in the day, Friday. But hey, we got so much to talk about. Brock Lesnar and Mauro Ranallo leaving the WWE, the IIconics breaking up. I'm surprised Aaron has stopped, crying about it to be able to be on the show. We've also got an AEW All Out preview coming up and revisiting our match of the week. It is my man, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, taking on Goldberg in a no DQ match from 2000 WCW's Fall Brawl. And Aaron, I'll preview now, or I'll tease now, a surprisingly damn good match to watch for different reasons than you would normally give accolades to a wrestling match for. So anyway, I'm going to get into all of that today, maybe even touch on a little bit on that controversial Velveteen Dream stuff that you sent me, and maybe even Roman Reigns' heel turn that'll come up as a source of conversation. But Aaron, where would you like to take us first?
I mean, I guess we can talk briefly about the IIconics breaking up. It's not fair. We can just start with it right now. So they had this tag team match on Monday Night Raw. It was the IIconics versus Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. Whoever lost had to break up as a team. So obviously it should be Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan anyway. They should have lost. But no, Liv Morgan gets an inside cradle, right, and all of a sudden the IIconics must break up. There's got to be something in a contract. I've consulted a few attorneys about this.
You have really? Oh, you consulted some attorneys. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
On behalf of Billy Kay and Peyton Royce as well. So they don't have to pay for this. This is pro bono on me. I've consulted a couple attorneys about loopholes in the contract. So don't fret. I'm working on getting them back together. Okay. But for whatever stupid reason, the IIconics are no longer together, and I don't know how to deal with it.
Really? I don't know if I would say it's a stupid reason, man. They're 1-75 with their record. So I don't understand necessarily why it was such a big deal to keep them together this long. I mean, they were basically jabronis, female jabronis for a lot of other female tag teams and a lot of other singles competitors to get W's on their records at the expense of the IIconics, expense of Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. You've sent me stuff. We've gone back and forth about the IIconics, but you have sent me stuff in the past to show what these ladies can actually do in the ring when they're allowed to do their thing in the ring. And maybe this is the right move. From what I was reading, it looks like Vince is trying to push a singles run for Peyton Royce. Where does that leave Billy Kay? The WWE has been making a lot of interesting choices with their talent in terms of letting them go or pushing them into new areas or switching them from one brand to the other. So what do you see happening here between these two ladies?
Well, out of the two, if I had to pick one to go into singles competition, it would be Peyton Royce, only because she's got more of an established singles record than Billy Kay does. No offense to Billy. And I think that her sidewinder suplex that she does for a finish is a really unique finish. It's pretty cool. Billy Kay's finish is a kick, which is not really that exciting. And I think that with Peyton Royce doing she does bodybuilding competitions now, and I think that also caught Vince's eye because he's a body guy, pal. And I think maybe he saw some different avenues to work with her other than just wrestling. They could do some magazine stuff with her, and maybe they just find her a little bit more marketable than Billy at this time is probably what I would say.
Well, I mean, and to bring it down to his brass tacks, maybe Vince just felt there was more to work with there for all number of reasons than Billy Kay at this point. It doesn't mean could be interesting to see Billie Kay be turned into a heel who's angry at Peyton Royce for kind of being pushed by the company. Maybe that's an angle they want to play with between the two ladies. Billie Kay seems like a natural heel to me, and Peyton Royce seems like a natural face to me, to be honest with you. Even though the kid, obviously Peyton can play the cocky, arrogant young lady, but have her play the face to Billie Kay's more devious heel, I think would absolutely work. And it feels like Billie Kay was, if there was an alpha between the two, it feels like Billie Kay was the alpha to Peyton Royce's beta. So to me, I think that makes a lot of sense. And you got to do something to kind of like shake things up. I mean, they're not being let go, so that's a positive. Somebody in the chat said Authors of Pain just got released. So
that just happened.
Yeah, so that's not it's not a positive. So I mean, it's not a positive situation for tag teams at this point. So the fact that they're staying in the WWE means there must be something they see in these two young ladies that they can work with here and try to give them another push. But they got to let them wrestle, don't you think, Aaron? I mean, what the stuff, like I said earlier, the stuff you sent me from their time in NXT, these ladies can wrestle. Let them effing wrestle once and for all and do their thing and establish themselves and that's how you give them a shot to get over with the fans who are kind of hesitant like me to like any of them because they don't consistently wrestle at the level that they've shown in the past. Let them wrestle at that level and then we'll come aboard. I mean, I've come aboard on Carmella, for God's sake, so it's not impossible. And don't tell me that Natty and Mickey James and Asuka, as cool as that may be for some people, that to me is like going back to the 1990s. Yeah, that Asuka's got to face people from the 1990s, and that's ridiculous to me. I think it should be. You should definitely have a little more of the young blood flowing through. So maybe Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are going to find their way into these situations more and more. Hopefully, you hope.
Well, I definitely don't want to see them matched against each other right away because I feel like we just got done with that feud with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Kind of even the same thing, like, oh, the company loves Mandy Rose because she's so pretty, and nobody likes Sonya Deville because she's, I don't know, she's a tomboy. I don't know. Okay. And that was kind of their storyline. So I don't want to see, that same kind of storyline. It always ends up being that way, doesn't it, though? Like one girl, it tries to get ahead, the other girl has to be a bitch about it, and then it's standard 101 storytelling. It's boring, it's dull. I don't want to see it. I think you could be right though if you change Billie Kay over to SmackDown or change one of them to a different show. They get fresh matchups. You got a fresh face on there. Zeno Hour mentioned in the chat that Billie Kay has good mic skills. She definitely does have good mic skills. It depends on how they put that to use. Do they make her a manager? Do they make her a wrestler and have her go up against the likes of a Carmella or the likes of a I don't see her get in there with Bayley at all because I think that Bayley would be well overmatched with her, and I just don't. Billie Kay would be overmatched with Bayley, so I don't know where Billie Kay is at right now. I think Peyton Royce has a little bit more upside. Yeah. I could see Billie Kay going away for a little bit and then maybe bringing her back as a different character or putting her with somebody even. Yeah. I mean, I think Billie Kay's got all the tools to be a great female heel. You may be right, Aaron. You pull her off TV for like 3 months. You work with her in the ring to change some of her tactics or change some of her style to make it even more heelish and to add more brutality to her moves so that it becomes believable if she comes back in a different format or different look, a different appearance, and starts waylaying some people with some brutal shots. Then you got yourself a new character to get behind. And people are always up for second chances. People are always up to give second, third, fourth chances to wrestlers sometimes when they're trying to figure out where they belong or where they fit. Certainly, we've seen Rocky Maivia come back and be a completely different person, become The Rock. We saw Stone Cold come back and be a completely different person, become Stone Cold. We saw Triple H do that with the Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick to become Triple H. And recently we saw that with Becky Lynch. So it's not impossible. It's just a matter of, can you get the storylines working well? Can she stay injury-free? And can she add some new moves that I think will be interesting for the fans to watch? But you brought up something here a couple of minutes ago that I think is interesting to think about, Aaron. With the Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose situation happening with the break-in and everything like that, if they're kind of sidelighting those ladies for a little bit because of the effects of that, the Billie Kay and Peyton Royce may slide into that spot with the same storylines and go forward from there. So that's certainly a possibility as well, don't you think? Absolutely. Sadly, yeah. I mean, art imitates life. I mean, they did a angle with Paige and Charlotte Flair's dead brother, and they did the same angle when they did, when Jim the Anvil Neidhart died. They did a storyline with Natty and Charlotte there too. So it doesn't surprise me. It would surprise me if they did kind of pull something like that, some sort of weird intruder angle with these people. I hope that doesn't come to that. But then again, I see a lot of support for Billie Kay in the chat, and I don't think that we're dumping on Billie Kay at all.
No.
I think we see a lot of potential there. She even tweeted out a picture the other day on her Instagram, or tweeted out on Twitter, a picture of Maleficent, and that was it. So, she's dressed up like in the Maleficent gear in the past. So maybe she's going to that evil kind of witch thing. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, certainly possible. But I know it's a tough moment for you. So I send you all my sympathies and hope. And the, did you buy their behind? Did that seem true to you? Seem like a bit of acting and storyline, or did you actually think that was a moment of real reaction between both those ladies about them having to break up?
I think it's probably half and half. I mean, they probably knew this was coming for a while. I'm sure somebody got in their ear about it. I doubt this was like a breakneck decision, something that happened real quick, because you saw if you saw the picture online of Peyton Royce with Shane McMahon, which is hilarious. Yeah, because he's all smiling and she looks scared to death. So I mean, it's been a weird week for the WWE in general, especially with like all the releases going on and the Velveteen Dream stuff and blah. But a long way to go for the IIconics to see where it comes back. But look at this, like Liv Morgan just came back and did her thing like maybe 9 months ago, and now they've already put her back essentially in the Riot Squad with Ruby Riot. So who knows? Like, if this doesn't work in 3 or 4 months, they could just put the IIconics back together and nobody would bat an eye, and they'd probably rather see it that way. Yeah, that's a good point. This isn't a rocker situation or wherever one's betraying the other one, so they just can get the job done. So there you go. Thank you so much. We got a Tommy Tom sending in a little bit of Streamlab here, or Super Chat rather. He said Billie Kay was there first and older, so there's some story there. Okay, you can play with that, I suppose. That's a great point. Because she's old, Tommy? Are you saying she's old? I think she means that she's older. Come on, she's been there longer. Is what she has. But she's also been more injury prone as well. So let's not forget about that. Yeah, that's been an issue, and that's why I meant if she can stay injury free, then all kinds of possibilities are available to her as a performer and as a wrestler here. And you never know. Like you said, like we've said before, you never know who is going to break out for whatever reason. If you hit the right chords, you strike the right notes, they could come back and be a completely different person. You just never know. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate that super chat. Letting you all know we have the super chats and Streamlabs open. This is an hour-long show, not my usual 2 or 3 hour shows. So please, if you want to ask us any questions or if you want to send us any support here on the Outlaw Nation for this show and for anything else we got going on the Outlaw Nation, please send in your Streamlabs and your super chats before we wrap up the show, so Aaron and I can answer them, and appreciate any support. Keep the lights on here in the Outlaw Nation, especially on a Friday, a more relaxed Friday as we've got things going on. All right, what are we moving on to next, my man? Yeah, we're doing so well. We got new windows going up in the house, so we're doing pretty well here. The next thing we're going to talk about is a little bit of a it's a somber note. It's a bittersweet note that Mauro Ranallo will be leaving NXT and WWE when his contract expires here in a little bit. He's not going to be renewing. Mauro is a guy that has had his issues. If you saw his documentary Bipolar Rock and Roller, which is excellent. If you haven't seen it, you really should. Goes into a lot of what he's dealing with. And, he had an earlier tenure when he was on SmackDown and took a break and then came back to NXT. But I do want to read a statement that he said on Facebook saying, "I appreciate the opportunity I had to realize my childhood dream of working in sports entertainment, and I wish WWE well in the future. Now I want to direct my focus and devote my time to my other projects and my mental health charitable activities, as well as the well-being of my mother and myself." Wow. So if you saw the documentary, you know that he's very close with his parents. Yes. And that his mom was not doing well then. So I can't imagine, what the difference is now. And I totally respect that. Much respect to anyone that goes and takes care of themselves and their family as well. Yeah. I don't have one bad thing to say about Mauro Ranallo. Such an awesome guy. I got to talk to him for a little bit at the NXT scrum that I did with Ryan Satin. Great guy, just as you would expect him to be. Very nice, very welcoming. He's been really the heartbeat of the NXT community. Is a big fan of NXT myself that goes to many shows. He just really embodied the spirit of NXT and what it really meant. And, when I would see Mauro Ranallo doing like Strike Force or boxing, he gets so animated. Like me and my friends would make fun of him. Like, this dude's crazy. Like, why is he so into all this stuff? And then, he gets to the WWE and you realize, and you see that documentary and you realize why he is that way. And I got nothing but love for him, man. Absolutely well deserved. Take your time. If you want to come back to the WWE when this is all said and done, and everybody's back to hopefully good health, come on back. I'm sure the door's wide open for Mauro to return. It's not like he left on bad terms. And Wade Barrett kind of snuck into that spot that Mauro Ranallo was holding, and he seems to be doing pretty well. So you'll never forget the Mamma Mia's or what the hell. You'll never forget any of those calls in NXT. So hopefully we'll see Mauro back sooner rather than later.
We'll see, man. It seems like, once again, we're talking about, it feels like a sea change in the WWE. A lot of choices they're making with some of the, Renee Young leaving now, Mauro Ranallo leaving. Both of these people had established themselves outside of the WWE, then came into the WWE. So maybe this is a little bit more of a circling the wagons type thing going on here from the WWE, where they don't want outside people necessarily stepping into these positions or being in these positions anymore. They want their own people there. Maybe there was some pushback for the COVID situation. Maybe there was some pushback from Renee, from Mauro about some of the ways they were handling it, or maybe they felt some of the ways that the Vince and them handled it wasn't appropriate or wasn't strong, and they felt like this is not the right situation for them anymore, and they're going on to other things. Could be what Mauro said. They said, I had a good time, in sports entertainment, pursued a dream. It was great to see. That was awesome. Man, I did it. Now I got to move on to other things. It's that kind of thing that you have in life sometimes. You've done what you can do here, and now let's see what else I can do. Today we saw Anna Faris is walking away from her mom's sitcom, and she's been on that thing for 7 years. So she's walking away from it because she says she wants to pursue other opportunities. So sometimes, artists and people like who do well in their chosen field see opportunities out there to do more and need to be challenged. And so, as great as he was on NXT, it's not the top brand. Raw's the top brand, or SmackDown is the top brand. Why isn't he calling the matches there? Mauro is more than good enough to cover those matches, and better than anyone you've got calling those matches, WWE and either Raw or SmackDown. He's that much of a professional. He's fantastic in MMA. He calls boxing matches really well. So it's like there's no ceiling, in my opinion, for Mauro Ranallo. However, like you mentioned, the situation with his mom, the situation with himself, the situation with his charities, maybe he's seeing he's in a good financial position to relax for a little bit, doesn't have to rush out and do the extra stuff, and can now start dedicating his time to really helping people with their mental health stuff. And maybe that's something that will bring him more joy than calling the next match or whatever. So, I wish him well too, and I hope he lands someplace really great. I could see him calling a Fox NFL game. I could see him being one of those guys in the booth calling games. I'd love it. Or college football. What was his name? David If Johnson can do it, for God's sakes, so can Mauro Ranallo. Both excited, awesome guys who call games. So why not?
Tony Romo and Mauro Ranallo on the call. Joe Buck and Mauro Ranallo on the call. But you mentioned something that is very dear to me. He's taking care of his mother. I took care of my father when he was in failing health. And I tell you, man, if you haven't done that, I hope you never have to. But it's just something that is so taxing, not only on you physically, but mentally and everywhere in between. So I don't blame him from taking time away. You can't always, you can't always just put your best foot forward and do the things that you used to do. It's not the same thing. And I think that Mauro really liked being in NXT. I think he could have been probably could have been on Raw or SmackDown.
Maybe could have pushed,
if he really pushed for it. Yeah. But I think he liked NXT. I think he liked the environment, because when you go into Full Sail and you're in there with all those fans, it's a small cramped area. It's a TV studio. So there's like maybe 300 people in there, and you feel that energy, like that energy that people like kind of even make fun of on the weekly when they're not in Full Sail. Like the fans get really rowdy in there, and I think you can feed off of that. And it helped Mauro even more with his commentary, because when he's getting amped up, everybody else is getting amped up too, and he's getting the people at home amped up. So I think he wanted to be in NXT. Right. I think if he wanted to call something on WrestleMania, they would have absolutely let him do it. But I think NXT is his home, and I think AEW or Impact Wrestling or somewhere else completely out of the question. I don't think we'll see him there ever.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see him there ever either. I think that's such a colossal step down from where it was. And no offense to those companies. It's not where his talent lies. His talent lies higher. So go get hired. Just like Renee, go get hired. Go get more. Go knock yourselves out and do that stuff. Tommy Tom here says, "Damn, Aaron, record first comedy special 26th, and you already Me Too'd me, brother. LOL. I'll wait for the Velveteen Dream discussion." I don't know what that means.
But you're recording your first comedy special on the 26th? Is that what you're saying, Tommy Tom? Because if that's true, that's amazing, and I hope you kill it, brother.
Yeah, I hope you two do. I hope you do. All right, interesting. Hey there, Aaron.
And I did Me Too you.
Aaron and John, everyone just coming in from Roxy's stream. Oh yeah. We're not trying to take away anything from Roxy. I just had to do the show earlier today. She's awesome, and I anticipated people might not be there to start the show with us at the beginning. So thanks for all of you coming in from Roxy's stream. Really appreciate that. As Jake has here, get your questions in at the Streamlabs there. Appreciate the super chats, but super chat YouTube takes 33% of the super chat. So Streamlabs go more directly to what we're doing here in the Outlaw Nation. So if you can send in through Streamlabs, I appreciate you doing that. There you go. Yeah, right above Aaron's head is the address there, streamlabs.com. There we go. / John Rocha says. So send it in through there. All right, what do we want to do next, my man?
Well, real quick, Tommy Tom did confirm that he was recording a comedy special. So, man, good luck. Please send it to me. I'd love to watch it, man. I'd love to see. It says 5 years producing everything for YouTube. So, yeah, man, good luck. Kill it, crush it, break a leg. I'd love to see it, man. Good for you, buddy.
I agree.
And
all right,
we might as well just talk about the Velveteen Dream briefly because people keep bringing it up. But I had sent you this thing. This was from, and I even hate doing this. I didn't see this firsthand. I saw someone sent it to me. And this was from Vince Russo's podcast, and it was this essentially. Velveteen Dream had gone and had a lawyer file motions about these inappropriate messages that he'd been sending on Instagram and social media to, I guess you could say teenagers, children that are underage, 16, 17, 15, some in that area. And, they're alleging, the lawyer's alleging that no contact happened and nothing, or no sexual contact happened or anything of that nature. Just talk going back and forth. There was no nudity exchange or anything like that from what I could tell, from what I was listening to. Yeah. But essentially in Florida, there's some kind of weird loophole law where discussions between the ages of 16 to 23 is okay, as long as it doesn't go any further than that. So these were filed to, I guess, make sure that Velveteen Dream would not get in trouble for these kind of things.
Probably, yeah.
It's a very odd situation, and I would have to think that if, number one, the immediate skeptic in me thinks, oh wow, you're really guilty, you're really doing this. Why are you doing this? And number two, it makes me think, with everything that goes on, is he just covering his bases, or what's going on here? But either way, it makes me just look at Velveteen Dream and go dude, what are you doing? You're somebody that has all the talent in the world and could be a future world champion, no doubt about it. And I don't know what is going on with you. I don't know where to go with this.
Well, we'd be remiss not to. How do I walk the line and say this correctly? But we'd be remiss not to. How about that? We'd be unrealistic to believe that there aren't 22-year-olds messing around with 17-year-olds in every city in this freaking country. I'm sure there is, and in the world. I'm sure there is, because 17 is close enough to 18. 22 doesn't still 100% feel like you're, fully into adulthood. So in your mind, it's a 5-year difference. You know what I'm saying? And so in your mind, it can be kind of negotiated or rationalized that it's okay. However, when you're Velveteen Dream, which means you're a famous person on a well-known brand, it behooves you to be smart about how you go about doing this. And I don't mean smart by discovering the loopholes state to state. I mean, not even engaging in this kind of thing because of the danger of it. And because it's inappropriate, technically and legally inappropriate, but it also looks bad for you PR-wise. But the WWE must bear some weight on this as well because they haven't made any comments about it. The lawyer has come out, and if, like I said, I don't know if it's true or not. Vince Russo, that gentleman, the British gentleman who was helping in there, speaking about these loopholes in Florida that allow to do it because he's under 23 years old when he was having contact with this person, and so it's like, okay, I get that, but the overall look of it is not good, and the WWE not saying anything is not good. It's just like DC and Warner Brothers not saying shit about Ezra Miller in that video during their 10-minute Flash panel. They didn't say anything about it at DC Fandom. So those kinds of things, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if the company just goes, if we don't talk about it, it'll just blow over. There's not enough anger about it to cause us or make us react to it. So I wonder overall what the logic is here for WWE and how it's going to damage Velveteen Dream's brand, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is that I think WWE definitely wants it to go away, but it's not going away. Like if you saw during, I think, SummerSlam or maybe Payback during the Thunderdome when they have everybody on the screen, someone had put up in their screen, "Fire Velveteen Dream," had a sign there for a long time, "Fire Velveteen Dream." And I have to think that it's probably a good thing for WWE, and I even hate to say this, it's probably a good thing for WWE that he came back during the pandemic when the crowds are controlled and it's just other NXT superstars, because I feel like if there was no pandemic, Velveteen Dream comes back, he gets booed out of the building.
Right.
100% gets booed out of the building. And like my friends and my wrestling friends that watch wrestling all the time, we've all kind of taken a step back because we love Velveteen Dream. Like we loved him. And I think the wrestling as a whole was ready to fully embrace Velveteen Dream. And now it's like, maybe you need to get some help. Maybe you need to work through some things. But come on, man. Like we need you to get your head screwed on straight and figure out what's going on here and what's what. That's for sure. And WWE needs to stop hiding behind it because it's not going to go away. It feels like he's too popular of a person to where this will not go away.
Right. But, we'll see, man, because their fans, how many of their fans actually legitimately have an issue with this? I wonder, and that seems to be the approach to a lot of these situations. They're going to lean on their fans who don't really read the rags sheets or whatever, or read the higher end websites that deal with this kind of stuff, like Pro Wrestling Sheet. Our friend Ryan Satin over there, they don't necessarily read all that kind of stuff, so they just come and watch the matches. I saw a thread the other day talking about politics and saying like, yeah, those of us who are into it are like, how can you not be into it? But most people just kind of are looking at whatever works for them, and they're voting that way. And so it's like, it's for people who are super into wrestling. Yeah, we know all that's going on with Velveteen Dream, but most of the casual fans that show up at these events and do whatever, it's not that well known to them. So it's probably not that big of a deal to them because they don't know that much about it, nor can they be bothered to investigate it fully. If this was Triple H, that's something. If this Hogan saying the N-word, that's a whole nother ballgame, right? But this situation, and correct Jeremy Miller, he wasn't 25 when he did it. He was under 23. He was 22 when he did this.
Well, he's 25 now, I think is what
he's 25 now, right? He wasn't 25 when he did this, and that's why it's covered under the Florida law as okay. Which, of course, Florida. I mean, it's Florida. What are you going to do? What do you want to say?
Hey!
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I've been there for I would live there for 4 years. I'm not
from here. I just live here. I'm just throwing that out there. But I think also that the person that he is, that he's messages with is a male, and I happen to think that if it was a female, it would be even worse. And I feel
maybe
like
you're right.
All over it. Right. But I don't think that they want to. I mean, we're still in a time of stigma. We're still in the time of these things. I don't think WWE wants to touch it. And I think that if it was a female, they would have canned his ass. I think they would have canned his ass immediately. But since it's not, and there's the stigma of male on male, sexual violence and sexual harassment that doesn't get reported as often as male to female and vice versa, female to female. It just raises all these other questions that, who knows what's gone on since then.
Yeah, I agree. All right. What do we move on to now, brother?
Let's move on to something that people got all up in arms about, and then it's really not a big deal in my opinion, and that is that Brock Lesnar is a free agent.
Free agent, man.
Brock Lesnar is no longer contracted with the WWE, which a lot of people panicked. Somebody asked Tony Khan on the owner of AEW on the conference call this week if they had any interest in Brock Lesnar, and he said, "Oh, I can't really talk about that, but I like Brock's work." As if Brock Lesnar would ever go to AEW. Would never happen, never happen, never, ever, 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 ever happen.
Ever. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Like, why would you ever leave? They did remove Brock Lesnar's merchandise from WWEshop.com, but this is standard. If you're not under contract, this happens. Sting, Kurt Angle, all their stuff has been removed I believe for the most part, and people that generally aren't contracted have their stuff removed. Brock will be back with the WWE 100%. Will he probably entertain some offers from Dana White to do UFC? Probably. Probably to play the two sides against each other, get some money. Vince gets some on the back end. Everybody goes home happy. But Brock Lesnar has the best deal in pro wrestling, maybe in athletics. You know what I'm saying? Like, he comes in, he works like 4 times a year and gets paid several $1 million to do that. And I saw this infographic the other day that had like half was CM Punk, half was Brock Lesnar. And it was like CM Punk held the belt for 434 days, had something like 200 some title defenses or something. I'm just guessing. And it was like Brock Lesnar held the title for 420 days and had like 3 title defenses. It's like, okay, but are you saying that Brock Lesnar is smarter than CM Punk because he works smarter and not harder? I would say that Brock Lesnar is a smart man for that, but I don't think this is anything. This is essentially a non-story, but I just kind of thought it would be fun to talk about that Brock Lesnar is going nowhere. Brock Lesnar is not going to AEW. If anything, he would entertain an offer from the UFC, I think, and that would be about it. That's about as far as it would go. He will always end up back in WWE, and I think after the pandemic kind of winds down, we'll see him back.
If he was more, I'm not going to say this correctly, if he was more personable, if he had more of an ability on camera to talk, Lesnar could pretty much write his own ticket as a commentator, right? I mean, he could go.
Would you want him though?
I would. I think people love him, and he's got that Goldberg thing that you can't figure out why people love him as much as they do, but they do. And so, especially Vince, Jesus Christ, Vince. I mean, he threw the title at Vince. Name me one person that could do that and get away with it like Lesnar did. I mean, like, it's rare. It's really rare that a wrestler would do that. And it's because Brock has always conveyed that he doesn't need the WWE. The WWE needs him. And so that's why they've always kind of bent over backwards to acquiesce to his demands. And then when he goes to MMA, Dana White does the same thing. He just has that energy where people like he radiates. He could care less. Like he's going to get his money and he's going to get respected in these negotiations. And I kind of respect that. But if he was if he could like actually knowledgeably commentate about what he was watching and was really good in front of the camera about that kind of stuff, I think Lesnar would be a great commentator. That being said, I agree with you. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to take a little bit of a break like he does because he's getting older and these injuries do pile up for a man of his size and girth. And I think he's just going to wait and have a couple more runs, and then that's it. He's going to retire and move on to the next thing he's going to do. And if he has any kind of forward-thinking mind, I think at this point you start lining up sponsorships, but also maybe you take those classes that they offer to people who are former athletes or whatever to learn. The Fox Sports has that kind of academy you can go to. ESPN has academy you can go to if you're a former player. They'll teach you how to be a commentator. Could be something for him. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But no, he's not going to AEW. He's not going to fucking Impact. He's not going to any of that small ass shit. He's going to do what he's going to do. Wait a little bit. Come back to WWE. Maybe surprise Roman Reigns, become the face against Heyman, which would be fun.
I think Brock Lesnar, and I get a lot of crap for this, I think Brock Lesnar's an all-timer. I think Brock Lesnar might be top 5 all-time.
Wow.
Because I think he's just that good, dude. Like, every time, not necessarily like do I think he's going to put on like a wrestling clinic like Bret Hart? No.
Right.
But every time Brock Lesnar is in a ring, I want to watch it. Like, I just want to see what he's going to do. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot to say for an enigma like that. Like, it is very Goldberg-esque. I will give you that. Like, people wanted to see Goldberg. They didn't want to see Goldberg go in there and mat wrestle with Hulk Hogan. They want to see Spear and a fucking jackhammer. That's all they want to see. They don't care about the rest of it. And it's like Brock Lesnar. They want to see some German suplexes. They want to see an F5. That's it. That's all they want to see.
Roll, baby, roll.
That's it. Pin me, pay me, give me my money.
Yeah,
but the difference between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg is if Brock Lesnar wants to, he can go a Broadway with you. He can get in there with an AJ Styles or a Finn Balor or a Daniel Bryan.
Yes, you're right.
And he can have CM Punk, like we talked about a few weeks ago, and have an epic match if he wants to. Goldberg did not have that ability to do that kind of thing. That's the big difference between the two. And that's why I think Brock is an all-timer. and probably one of the smartest guys that there is. I think he wants to be a coach. I could see him as a coach more than I could see that. His daughter wrestles. You know, I could see him wanting to be like, if the U.S. Wrestling team ever comes back, if that ever comes back to the Olympics, how could you not want Brock Lesnar, a 2-time national champion, as one of your coaches? I think I would see him more in that role. He does a lot more of that than people know about. He goes to these wrestling meets. He talks to young wrestlers, and I could definitely see him doing that. As far as the whole personable thing, yeah, he doesn't seem like he's very personable, but I think if you get on his level, if you're an amateur wrestler, an up-and-comer, he's on your level. You're on his level, in his opinion, I think. Right. So I could see him being more of a coach than a commentator. Though, you know, Brock Lesnar, like you said, he could write his own ticket. I also could just see him never coming back to any kind of athletic competition and going and riding a tractor 20 hours a day. I could see that too.
It's true. Yeah, you just kind of guy. Yeah. He's one of those dudes. Wow, his daughter looks exactly like him. That is kind of scary. Super creepy. I never knew he even had a daughter.
Yeah.
Wow. She looks just like him with blonde hair. That's it. With the blonde hair. Oh, wow. Mind-blowing, man.
And I think him and Sable have like twin boys, if I'm not mistaken. So look out. I think. I'm not really 100% sure for that. So look out for that in a few years. Just imagine 2 Brock Lesnars coming at you.
Kramash says, we need a top 10 wrestlers of all time list from you guys. Like the top 10 show, perhaps. Would be cool to see your different takes on that. Much love. Yeah, I think it could be a fun show.
I think it could too. I don't want to gimmick infringe. I don't want to gimmick infringe on the top 10 show. But yeah,
if I'm on it, you're not gimmick infringing it.
Well, it's a different show. But yeah, I would be down for that. I think that would be a fun list too.
I agree. Maybe as a special episode, we do a kind of top 10. Maybe we break it out where we do the top 10 over 2 episodes, where we do the 10 through 6 and then 5 through 1 for a second episode. So that could be kind of fun. I'm down with that. I love it.
Definitely not punting on Hulk Hogan. So just
how dare you? You're so disrespectful. There's 66 of you all watching us live. Thank you so much for taking the chance and watching us here. Please give it a like. You hit that thumbs up button. Only got 33 likes, so we got 50% of you liking it. So let's get it up to more at 80 or 90% of y'all liking. Let's get above 50 likes. I always like to get as close to 100 likes as possible on this show. So please, let's make it going. Morning Saints is gimmick infringe, LOL. Yeah, like it's my exactly. Like I came up with top 10 lists.
It's your gimmick that we're infringing on. I don't know.
No, but I appreciate the respect. Thank you.
I didn't want to make Matt Nose mad. Okay, I don't want to make it mad.
I just love when people say. I love when people send me DMs and they go, hey, man, you really inspired me to start a new show. It's basically the top 10 show, just our twist on it. And it's like, so then, no, I didn't. So basically, you're doing the same fucking show. Anyway. All right. Chris Miner says, just wanted to say hi. Currently in my car, sitting in this monsoon hitting us in Orlando. Most underrated pay-per-view ever. Mine is Fully Loaded 2000. Good question. Most underrated pay-per-view.
Yeah, glad that I'm not there. Glad I'm not in Orlando for that monsoon. It's nice and sunny here in Ponce Inlet, Florida. So sorry about that, Chris. That kind of stinks.
Yeah.
As far as an underrated pay-per-view, I actually really like SummerSlam 92, the British Bulldog Bret Hart main event. A lot of people like it for that match. I like it for the Money Inc. versus the Legion of Doom. I think it's an awesome match. And I think there's a lot of underrated matches on that card, as well as, dare I say it, WrestleMania 8. I think WrestleMania 8 is pretty fun too. So dare I say.
Okay. I don't know if I've got enough knowledge to I mean, I've seen every pay-per-view for the first, 30 years, but I don't have I need some more time. I need some more time to kind of look back and see which ones were like underrated or that people don't talk about enough, and they should. I see there's like a list here on What Culture about some of them. WrestleMania 19 is one that comes up. Steve Austin.
WrestleMania 19 is awesome because it has that match, the Stone Cold versus The Rock. It has Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. That's a great call. That is a great WrestleMania one.
I think I'll go with that one. Triple H fights Booker T? Fights Booker T on the show?
Let's not talk about that, man. Let's not talk about Triple H pedigree and Booker T and then waiting 19 seconds to pin him. And still gets the 3.
How is One Night Stand on this list? Do people not love One Night Stand? That's my number one choice. If that's even remotely an underrated pay-per-view. I fucking love that pay-per-view.
I think it's because there was like some key players that were injured, like Rob Van Dam was injured, and Kurt Angle didn't wrestle, so it kind of got weird. Yeah, I can see why.
They're going at each other in the fucking balcony and then coming down at the end where everyone climbs into the ring and it's a madhouse. That's awesome. That was so real. That felt like as real as it gets before you cross that line and get into a real like scrape with somebody. It was tense in that ballroom.
The best part of that pay-per-view is the Sandman coming out to enter Sandman that WWE actually paid the money to get Metallica's license for Enter Sandman, not like Paul Heyman did in the early 90s when he was anyway. They actually got the license. The friggin' reaction for that is insane when he comes out. It's great.
I love it. ECW. Jeremy says ECW 2006 when John Cena debuted there.
See, now you're just clowning, Jeremy. I know what you're saying. You're clowning. John Cena was not an ECW. Stop. I know that he wrestled at One Night Stand. I know what you're talking about. Rob Van Dam. Blah, blah, blah. And he lost. He lost to one of my top 10 wrestlers, Rob Van Dam. Thank you very much.
The whole fucking show. I've been going back and watching old TNA Impacts.
Why?
Yeah, I just for shits and giggles, watching some old Jay Lethal stuff, watching some old Flair stuff and Hogan stuff. I forgot about Rob Van Dam's theme song there, the whole effing show. It's a good theme song for him, man. RVD, the whole effing show. I love that.
Well, he's the best, so why would you be?
Christian Ramos, we already we broke that earlier in the show, but thank you very much for sending your notification to us. We talked about it already.
Yeah, Takem and Razar are free agents, and it's a very big lost bunch of potential for AOP. I like them, and then now they're gone, so that sucks.
Yes, true. They made a whole big deal about bringing them back, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we at right now? Where are we going on to now?
We're going to go to our All Out preview, Elite Wrestling All Out this weekend on Saturday. Will be from Daly's Place, which they have been filming Dynamite at every week, and a lot going on here. So I'm just going to run through the match card, or actually, Rocha, why don't you run through the match card, and I'll just give my thoughts, and maybe we'll talk about it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, let's go through it. Matt Hardy's taking on Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match. Aaron, your thoughts?
The battle of two guys that don't know whether to what gimmick to hit each other with, because they actually cut each other. Sammy Guevara hit Matt Hardy with the wrong chair and caused a giant gash in his head. And then Matt Hardy threw Sammy Guevara through a table and cut the side of his head. So who knows what's going to happen in this match? One of these two guys, the Broken Rules, one of them has to leave the company or whatever bull crap that is. So, I mean, one of them might die. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I think that Sammy Guevara will win this because he's the younger guy, and Matt Hardy doesn't need it.
If Matt Hardy dies, does he go into the lake of
reincarnation?
Lake of Incarnation to get
reborn? He could.
Totally stole that from Batman. The Dark Order versus Scorpio Sky, Matt Cardona, and the Natural Nightmares.
Okay, so they've been building the Dark Order as this force. Like if you saw Brody Lee absolutely beat down Cody Rhodes after his match, brutalized him, knocked him off a stretcher. The Dark Order is really asserting themselves here, and I could see them beating Scorpio Sky, Matt Cardona, and the Natural Nightmares here, only because I feel like everybody on that team could take the loss on the other side, and the Dark Order is just going to keep moving forward.
Wow. All right, we've got a 21-person battle royale for an AEW title opportunity. Aaron, who are your odds-on favorites in this one?
Going to surprise you guys with this one, but I think Ricky Starks is my odds-on favorite to win this. I think that Brian Cage will probably be in it since he was, they kind of got in a big kerfuffle, but he just won it, so I don't think he's going to win. But look for Ricky Starks to win this buy-in battle royal.
You really think it's going to be him, huh? You think it's his time?
See, here's what I think about Ricky Starks. I think everybody slept on him when he was on NWA Power. Like nobody watched NWA Power.
Yeah.
And then he comes into AEW and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Ricky Starks." I already knew. I was the Ricky Starks hipster. I knew Ricky Starks before it was cool to know Ricky Starks. He's going to win, I'm telling you.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right, let's keep going here. FTR versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page for the AEW tag team titles.
Okay, Is this where Kenny Omega officially becomes the cleaner and turns heel on Hangman Page? They've been building this forever and ever, the split between these two. I think it's time. FTR comes in, the former Revival comes in, and I think this is where they're going to win the tag team titles. We're going to see Kenny the Cleaner return. It's going to be awesome.
And one I'm looking forward to this, the AEW Women's title between Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. I got Hikaru Shida in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Sheeta's going to win this one too. Thunder Rosa coming over from the NWA. The NWA is open for business, apparently. And who doesn't love Thunder Rosa, though? She's awesome. Great person. Friend of the former publication, The Jobberknocker. I used to write for, big friend there. And she's really great person. But I think that Hikaru Shida is on quite a run. I think it's going to continue here.
Nice. All right, Chris Jericho, my man. Schmoedown competitor Chris Jericho taking on Orange Cassidy. Mimosa Mayhem match. Thoughts on that one?
I guess Chris Jericho would be your coworker at this point, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see Chris Jericho as your coworker.
Sure.
So they've had this rivalry, Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. It's 1-1 right now, so we'll see. This is the rubber match. Mimosa Mayhem from the brain of Chris Jericho. I don't even know what that is. I just know that a little bit of the bubbly will be involved, so I'm excited about that. I see Chris Jericho winning this, and please God, in this rivalry. It's making me like Orange Cassidy a little bit better, but I want to see Chris Jericho do some other stuff.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then Jon Moxley taking on everyone's favorite heel MJF for the AEW World title.
MJF has been great throughout this rivalry, doing his little presidential campaign, MJF for world champion. But I'm telling you, man, Jon Moxley on quite the roll. The number one wrestler in the PWI poll, which is some bullshit, if you ask me, should be Adam Cole. But, the way they built this match has been pretty cool. MJF got the better of Jon Moxley this week on Dynamite. He's done a great job building himself up, but I think that Jon Moxley will retain here. But it will be a hell of an entertaining match. MJF can win that title for the next 20 years. He doesn't need to win it now. Yeah,
I feel like it's rushing. I feel like it's too soon for him to win it. Just to get to this apex, got to see what he can do, then stumble back down and climb back up. Then he'll get it. I think it's time. And you have to let Moxley hold that title for just a little bit longer. I agree. All right. That's all the matches that we got here going on in the AEW All Out. And that is happening, Saturday? This Saturday night?
Saturday night, yeah. You can catch it on Fight TV and all those good places you can find pay-per-views if you're interested in paying $50 for a pay-per-view.
$50 for AEW?
During a pandemic. How dare you?
$50. Woof. I have to find some other way to do that. All right, real quick before
I'm not saying anything about that.
All right, let's real quick before we jump into our final section, which is our match of the week. Did you get a chance to watch Chris Jericho versus Kevin Smith in the Schmoedown?
I did watch it. I sure did.
Let's do a little old school Aaron Turner analysis of a Schmoedown match. Did you enjoy it? Were you surprised by it? What are your thoughts overall by this matchup between these two gentlemen?
I was really surprised that it was so close. Especially, a lot of people discounted Chris Jericho in this, but if you ever listen to Talk is Jericho, when he's talking with Eli Roth is one of his good friends. Yeah. And Chris Jericho is really good at 80s and 90s comedies, and he's really good at horror. So I figured if he could hang in those categories, then he can hang with Kevin Smith in anything. Right. The fact that, what did he lose on? I forgot what he lost on.
It was a sudden death. Yeah.
He lost on something where I was like, dude, come on. But but yeah, I mean, it was really entertaining. It was, of course, a huge moment for the Schmoedown, and I'm glad that I could see Chris Jericho and Kevin Smith in it. I really enjoyed it. Is it going to bring me back into watching week to week? Probably not. No offense to everybody in it. It's just not my jam anymore. But it was a lot of fun. I liked it.
Okay. I thought it was great, and you're right. It like pushed everything to the next level for us. It was stellar to see such a tight match go back and forth between both of these gentlemen, and the fact it went to sudden death. They took it very seriously. They went at each other back and forth, and I was so happy to see them do that. I think the question was which villain runs for mayor of Gotham City in Batman Returns. I think that's the one he lost.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, that's he said Two-Face and Kevin Smith. What does he say? It was Kevin?
Kevin said the Penguin, right?
Yeah, the Penguin. Exactly. So that's the one he lost on. So that was where it went down, and it was incredible. So many people were losing it when it happened. People wanted the challenge. It's very hilarious. So it was the Penguin, and that's how he ended up winning. And Kevin Smith's reaction was so awesome. He was so happy about winning, and Jericho really kind of played as hard as he could play. And you're right, not just the Eli Roth thing. I know Nikki Novak, who works for Fandango, she has been on his show numerous times, and they talk about movies, the new movies, the movies coming out all the time. So he is very well aware of film. So I kept saying in the preview before, when I was on backstage, and I'm stepping down from the show, started after next week, when I was on, I was like, Jericho knows movies, man. Don't be surprised if this is tighter than people think. And in the end, it was. And in the end, it went to sudden death. And, he fell in sudden death just like I did against Ethan. So I feel his pain, but he was a great sport about it, and he took it very seriously, which means like already people are lining up to possibly play Jericho down the road. Probably not this season, but certainly maybe next season if he comes back. And Kevin Smith, people want to take on Kevin Smith, who's 1-0. A lot of 1-0 competitors through their Schmoedown hats in the ring to take him on as well. So I tell you, Aaron, I've said this before on another show. I'll say it here again. If I get a chance to do a promo off with Jericho in the Schmoedown, I'll probably retire right afterwards, man, because I don't think it'll get any better than that, to be honest with you. He's such a consummate professional, so good at what he does, and to be able to just hang with someone like Chris Jericho in a situation like this would be fantastic. So.
Yeah, and I thought, cynically, I was like, well, it's not live, so it's going to suffer because of that, but it really didn't, man. There was it wasn't in front of a live audience. In a stage. Right. But it really didn't. There was so many. I think it was the most people that ever tuned in live to watch one on YouTube. It was insane how many people were in there. Like I was trying to keep up with the live chat, but it was going so fast. Like you couldn't even keep up with anything. Yeah. So the people were digging it. It was really cool. I mean, hats off to everybody that got it together. Hats off to Christian once again for, killing that. Jericho and Kevin Smith for wanting to do it. And it kind of brings me back to Jay and Silent Bob reboot when Chris Jericho did that funny cameo. I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Where he was a member of the KKK. Spoiler alert. But it was great. And I think Jeremy Miller said it was the Batman Returns. He said the Riddler.
Yeah. Jericho said, no, he said Two-Face. Jericho said Two-Face, and Kevin Smith said the Penguin, and that's how the code ended.
Oh, that's how. Yeah. Okay. Well,
there you go. I might have had a hard time figuring that one out in sudden death. A lot of pressure in sudden death, man. It can get in your head because you're trying to get it done in 15 seconds, and you only get one repeat instead of 3, which has a little bit of weight there.
Come on, bro. It's Batman. Come on, bro. Everybody's seen those movies 100 times. Come on, it's really
cool. Fair enough. I probably would have gotten there. One more. Who wins this triple threat? Captain Insano from Waterboy, Bonesaw from Spider-Man, or Nacho Libre?
The answer is Bonesaw. You know why? Because Bonesaw is ready. That's why.
Bonesaw is ready. By the way, I didn't know that Jay Lethal had gotten the approval from Randy Macho Man for his imitation of Macho, his Black Machismo imitation.
Yeah, good too. Wasn't it?
So, yeah, it was so good.
He also wore his outfit. He wore his Slim Jim jacket to All In, I think is what he did.
Oh, wow.
And then they did this little gimmick short term where Lanny Poffo was managing Jay Lethal, and when Lanny Poffo would touch the regular Jay Lethal, he would turn into Black Machismo.
That's awesome. I gotta see video of that. I gotta watch that. That's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right, we gotta wrap up here soon. So let's talk about our match of the week, my man. Break it down.
Hit the siren. We're talking about Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner versus Goldberg, that old piece of crap from Fall Brawl 2000. Let's talk about how we got started. Scott Steiner was attacking Goldberg a few weeks prior to this match on Nitro with a pipe until Goldberg, because that's what you do, you attack people with pipes.
That's right.
Goldberg turned it around on him and broke Steiner's nose. And then Vince Russo, who had been trying to control Goldberg and being one of his pawns, Goldberg told him to F off live on Nitro, causing their friction. So let's go ahead and talk about the match here. So we got Scott Steiner, Goldberg, two big behemoths that you wouldn't think could really pull off a great match. And I'm not saying it's like a 5-star Tokyo Dome classic, but from jump, when Goldberg hits that gorilla press on Scott Steiner, which made me about shit myself because he did it with such ease. Did you realize how it was like me lifting a baby? Like he just did it with such ease.
Yeah. 290 pounds.
Oh my God.
Straight up, and maybe more. I mean, I don't know what weight Steiner was at the time. That's what he's listed at, but who knows what weight he was actually at. But yeah, Goldberg picked him up like it was nothing. And Steiner throughout the whole match struggled to pick up Goldberg at times. And so you were like seeing the difference here between natural strength and I don't know, modified strength. You know, certainly Papa Pump looks like he could lift 290 like no problem, but Goldberg actually can and showed it. It was incredible. The only complaints I ever have with Goldberg is he's terrible at selling, man. He's terrible at selling. It frustrates you when you watch it because it's the one little thing. But even in this match, you just get past it. You understand he's going to take the hits, going to take the bumps. It's a way longer match than you're used to seeing from Goldberg. Usually those things are done in 2 minutes. So it's surprising to see how far they went and the brutality of these moves. I thought both of these guys had broken each other's necks more than once with some of those moves, some of the belly suplex, the body suplex, the what Goldberg was doing with him, taking him off the top rope when he caught him in the top rope, all of that. It just looked dangerous, the stuff they were doing. I mean, the way Steiner threw Goldberg into the steel steps on the ground, there was no elevation, man. It was just a straight shot into those steel steps right on the ground. And so all of it overall just was a great, brutal, fun match between these two guys. And there wasn't a lot of like laying down, trying to catch your breath. These guys, after a big power move, the other one get right back up and do something huge, and then they fall down and like fucking take a few minutes or take a few seconds to kind of recover. And I love that. That's how you do it. That's how you don't do the obvious thing. You do something unusual. You know, knock Steiner, there was that dangerous move. Goldberg picked up Steiner and then dropped him, and he almost dropped him on the rope where Steiner could have snapped his neck. And it's like, holy shit, man. So
that was real scary because what he wanted to do was like an electric chair drop where you essentially have Scott Steiner would be sitting on your shoulders and you would fall back with him. And then Goldberg just said, I don't, to hell with it, and threw him forward. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's not Rey Mysterio that you're throwing. That's like a 290 my ass. That's about a 315-pound man that you're throwing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. I can't tell you how many body slams there were in this match. There was at least 10 or 12, which I didn't hate. I actually didn't hate it for these two guys. Yeah. One of the things that made me lose my mind is when Scott Steiner got to the top rope and jumped at Goldberg, and Goldberg caught him. And I was like, whoa! Like, Goldberg is just way stronger than I ever realized, I guess. Like, I'm not discounting him at all, but to do that, like, that takes a lot of strength to catch a 315. He was 315, I swear. He was to catch a 315 pounder out of midair and then slam him. But then Scott Steiner slams Goldberg and does the push-ups, the fingertip push-ups, which is my favorite thing to do, and used to be a hazing thing I would do to people when we played football. You knock them down and you do the Scott Steiner push-ups and call him a fat boy or something, just something like that. That's what's really funny coming from me. But I just it always pops me when Scott Steiner does that because it's amazing, and it's just the ultimate like, screw you, you meatball, I'm better than you. But then your favorite valet comes down, Medesha comes down.
I literally texted Aaron and I was like, who the fuck is Medesha, man? And he had to,
they found her at the nearest Gold Club dancing on the pole probably the night before. But anyway.
No. She's apparently a fitness trainer that was introduced to Terry Taylor. And then Terry Taylor brought her into that situation or whatever. So that's what the Wikipedia says. I don't know.
I bet that Terry Taylor met her at a gym, okay, or a bar called Sweat Socks or something. But anyway, I don't believe that for 1 second. But yeah, she comes down with a pipe, the pipe that Goldberg used to bust Steiner in the face, and that kind of goes all array. And as Goldberg goes for a jackhammer for the finish because he had just speared Scott Steiner, here comes none other than Vince Russo.
Yeah.
And hits Goldberg with a bat. So this had been stemming from where Vince Russo was trying to get Goldberg to join him and do his bidding, and Goldberg told him to F off. And it's just a continuation storyline. They made it try to look real, but it wasn't real.
That bat was terrible. Rubber.
Really bad, terrible bat. And then it kind of gets kabuki-ish at the end. Steiner grabs the pipe, hits Goldberg in the head with it, knocks Goldberg. Looked like Goldberg got hit by an axe and he was a tree because he just kind of fell and died. And then Scott Steiner put the Steiner recliner on him, and that was the finish. And Scott Steiner gets essentially a clean win.
Over GQ match, so it's a clean win.
Yeah. Clean win, you're right. It's a clean win over Goldberg, which was surprising, but it really catapulted Scott Steiner into the main event scene. Yes, he was, of course, like a longtime tag team champion. He was in the NWO, but he was never really a world champion at this point. So oddly enough, we're in 2000 when WCW is almost gone, and Scott Steiner had not been world champion yet, but a big win here for Big Papa Pump.
Yeah. I was. It's always fun to remember Scott Steiner when he was in his quote unquote prime. You know what I'm saying? When he went to the NWO, this is the greatest version of Scott Steiner ever. Like the Steiner brothers were great, but when he went to the NWO, cut his hair, went blonde, had the little thing there, the little strip. I mean, it just was perfect. And even his promo and the chainmail, all of it, even the Batman mask he's wearing in this match is really well done. But like the chainmail was always great. In his interview with Gene looks scared out of his mind to be interviewing Papa Pump. And of course, he makes all these sex references that he's got to, after he's done, he's heading back to the hotel because he's going to get his thing on. And you're just like, holy shit. And Shivani and is it Mark Armstrong and
Mark Madden.
Yeah. And whoever else was calling the match there. They're all just like giggling like idiots the whole time, having a blast watching this nutty match. And it isn't nutty for any of the wrong reasons. It's nutty because these are two literal behemoths who are able to throw themselves around this ring and work outside the ring as well. They were effective. This match was effective all the way around, inside and outside the ring. The interference worked. I thought she was her and Vince were a bit clumsy when they clubbed him a second time while he was sitting on the ropes. But then eventually Scott gets that pipe there and gets the victory. And, but shout out to Goldberg, twice broke out of that Steiner press to crawl to the rope, showing his strength. So I thought this is really interesting that they were pushing Goldberg to be this incredibly strong person, but he takes the loss. And so it's for all the people who say like, oh, he doesn't like to take losses and blah, blah, blah. Took this loss, and it was a legitimate loss, and it was that, and then the Buffalo Bills guys come out and get him out of the ring and what have you, and so it's just all around just a very interesting match leading into what we get the main event later. But this is all around. This is a very weird pay-per-view with the matchups. I was looking at it. I don't remember half of those people on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, we're in WCW 2000, so it's not surprising. Even the production quality for this pay-per-view sucks.
Yeah,
like they just have even in 2000 when stuff's getting a little bit better, it's really bad. It's just a big, like WCW was known for having these elaborate sets like Halloween Havoc with like the graveyard and the pumpkin that would move. And then they have Fall Brawl, which is like one of their big pay-per-views, and it's just like a big screen. That's it.
Right.
And it's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
With Microsoft clip art, like it's really bad.
It was bad. A lot of people are coming out. Gramash and other people are coming out. Manny Gonzalez are coming after me, saying that Rick Steiner or Scott Steiner was better with the Steiner brothers. Absolutely not. You're insane. They were a fun tag team, but they were an outdated tag team, which is why when he turned heel, it made him better, 1,000% better. And Rick got forgotten, son.
That's a tough call, man, because the early Steiners were great, but they never achieved what Scott Steiner or Big Papa Pump did on his own. I don't think.
They never achieved what Harlem Heat did, for God's sakes. Harlem Heat did way better. I mean, I would argue that the Steiner brothers, well, no, I guess you can't argue that. Never mind. I'll put that away.
You don't want to get hurt. But
Booker's a better wrestler than both the Steiner brothers, so I got to put that
hands down. But let's talk about the aftermath of it. Like I said, Scott Steiner would be a main event player after this win and would capture the WCW title later in the year in November's Mayhem pay-per-view from Booker T, we just talked about.
Who I think wins it against Kevin Nash in this pay-per-view, I think.
Yes, he does. You're right.
Yeah, in the next match,
Goldberg would continue to feud with Vince Russo, leading to a rivalry with Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell. I bet that was great, and which would cause, which they tried to do an injury angle with Goldberg, where he would go and have shoulder surgery for real at the end of 2000. And by the time Goldberg was ready to come back, WCW belonged to the WWF and Vince McMahon. So. Yeah. This was really Goldberg's kind of last stand at the top, but a very impressive showing. I'll give it to him there. I'm not a big Goldberg guy. I've said that from jump, but yeah, a really good showing here. Good showing for Big Papa Pump with his freaks and his peaks.
Yeah, freaks. It's all I care about is my freaks and my peaks.
Freakzilla.
Freakzilla. Look, I was gonna get an Einsteiner shirt in time for this conversation, but Pro Wrestling Tees, it is like 3 weeks to get a shirt.
They're print on demand, so it's
exactly. So I couldn't order it in time for this show, but I will be ordering an Einstein shirt because that may be my favorite wrestling shirt. This side of the Hogan Japanese one, which you can't find anywhere anymore. And maybe you'll find it at the shop if you go down there. Just a little hint.
Can I ask you something? Like, yes. I know you have the outlaw, like the cowboy hat gimmick. I know you like that. Would you ever consider chainmail?
Yes, I think I would. To be
that
honest,
would be amazing.
I've been considering this. Like, well, I don't want to say it. Okay, let's just say this: if I lose in the singles tournament early, I will just disappear because I don't play any singles tournament matches for the rest of the year.
All right.
I've been thinking of like getting into this hardcore workout regimen. So by the time I come back next year, I'm in way better shape physically and muscular wise. Okay. And the chainmail thing is a possibility. It's completely. I don't know how it would change the outlaw to that, but the chainmail thing could be a lot of fun. If I go full heel, that would be incredible. If they let me get 2 girls to come with me all the time, that would be even more incredible. I know people go insane. They'd hate it. The female competitors would be so mad that I'm objectifying women, but it would be a great thing to play the heel that way, you know?
You know what you could do? You could do the mask, like the outlaw mask, and you could put it within the chainmail, and that could be like your thing. Like that'd be a cool look. I'm just saying, it'd be a cool look. Somebody draw it up. I can't do it, but I'm a terrible artist. Somebody draw that up. That could be a T-shirt right there. Speaking of T-shirts, go over to tpublic.com and type in Strong Style, and you will find 2 designs currently: the flagship Strong Style logo, and of course the wear a mask with my face on it. So there you go. Go over to tpublic.com, get those shirts, and thank you to the folks that ordered one last week. Appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. We're going to put the address in the description of this video so you can go and order it as soon as Aaron sends it to me. You can go and order it there and buy a shirt buy the Strong Style shirt. The logo is so awesome from Brian Ward. So yeah, come and use it. Come and put it on yourself.
And it's not just shirts. Not just shirts either. Sorry. Not just shirts, coffee mugs, phone cases, pillows if you want to. If you want to sleep with masks for your COVID-19s, if you want a pillow with my stupid face on it, that's on you. I don't care. As long as you're making the purchase, I don't care. You could rest your face on my face for all I care. But you can get that there. So
there it is.
Big Bad Movie. Oh, Big Bad Movie Daddy's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good play on Big Bad Booty Daddy. Bolt Jameson's got something right there. I think he might have to steal that.
Movie Daddy. Oh my God.
I think he might have to steal that.
Aaron Turner, I don't know what to do now. That's so brilliant. Oh my God. I'd have to dye my hair blonde. Oh my God.
That would be even better. And you have to grow the soul patch.
Yeah, my girlfriend would kill me, and my hosting agents would drop me in a heartbeat. All right.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, we got to think about that. We got to think about your career too.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately. Thank you all so much for watching us live here on another awesome episode of Strong Style. Really appreciate it. I love hanging out there and talking wrestling. This is quietly one of my favorite shows to do every week because there's no pressure. It's just boom, just me and Aaron just having fun talking wrestling. So I appreciate you all joining us live. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button. Please leave a comment down below. Trying to get this thing over 1,000 views, but also the more comments you leave and the more likes you leave on the video, it elevates the visibility of this video, and it shows up possibly on the side of people who are watching pro wrestling videos to suggest them taking a chance on our show. So please do that to help us. Even if you can't donate or contribute in that way, we'd appreciate it. All right, Aaron, any last words?
Manny, I do like Survivor Series 88. That, of course, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage freak out. Yes, I do like that pay-per-view. Just wanted to throw that in there. You can find me on Twitter at only Aaron Turner. You can find me this weekend sitting on my ass watching the first 3 episodes of The Boys that dropped on Amazon Prime. I'm really excited to watch that. Homelander, hopefully he continues to be a jerk because that's one of my favorite characters going right now. So that's where you'll find me. And you'll find me looking at houses on Sunday, and you'll find me Monday not doing anything.
Yeah.
So there you go. Have a nice weekend. Hope you guys get a 3-day weekend. Should be fun.
Awesome. Well said there, Aaron. I echo his sentiments as well. Have yourself a safe and healthy 3-day weekend. Enjoy Labor Day weekend. Hopefully, getting Monday off if you've been working. If you haven't been working, hope you use that Monday for positive things in your world. I think we'll still be doing game time, so don't forget that on Monday at 2:00 game time. Me, Jay, and Jay Washington, Winston Marshall talk about all the sports news. And follow me at the Rocha Says right there on Twitter and on Instagram, and subscribe to the Outlaw Nation channel as well. We're going to do more and more content here on this channel. The reason I'm stepping down from backstage is to clear up more time in my schedule to put up more things, maybe put some more wrestling videos up, maybe put some more Star Wars videos up, maybe put some more other stuff up so I have time for it. So that's what I'm looking at right now. That's why I'm making these kind of changes to bring more attention to the channel and get more people involved. So we'll love any help you all can give it by promoting it and by sharing this video on your social media. All right, that's it. We're out of here. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week for another live episode of Strong Style. And Aaron, what's the match we're doing next week?
Oh God,
is it this one?
Oh God, no, we're not doing the watch along next week. Sorry, it is Kenny Omega versus Okada, number 4, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Check it out. Definitely watch that and do your homework with us. That's what we're going to be checking out. Kenny Omega versus Okada next week. So I don't have a mask. So here's my hat. It covers my camera. That's my gimmick. See you later.